back to another edition of the Prepper Recon Podcast. Our mission is to bring you great interviews with preppers from around the world so you can be better informed and better prepared for everything from a hurricane to the end of the world as we know it. Whether your plan is to bug out or bug in, CampingSurvival.com has all of your preparedness needs, including fish antibiotics, long-term storage food, water filters, bug out bags, and first aid kits. Use coupon code PrepperRecon for 5% off your entire order at CampingSurvival.com.
When disaster strikes, it's too late to prepare. PrepperRecon.com offers MOLLE-compatible individual first aid kits for your home, auto, or bug-out bag. These kits have everything you need to address a traumatic injury, including an Israeli battle dressing, quick clot, EMT shears, suture kit, Steri-strips, tourniquet, ACS chest seal, tough strip bandages, gauze, and so much more. $89 includes shipping. To buy your individual first aid kit, go to PrepperRecon.com and click the store tab at the top of the homepage. Order today before it's too late.
Hey Preppers and Patriots, this is the second half of my interview with Dan Michaels of ePrepper.net. Enjoy the show. And I think a lot of us just feel powerless about technology, and it seems so hard to understand. And what are some things we can do to take control and start making it a little more difficult to have our data collected?
Well, there are a ton of things, and they're not all that complicated. And so there are some ways that you can start taking control of your internet, email, file sharing, instant messaging, cell phones. We're going to get to every one of those today. I'm going to demo some stuff. And I want to really encourage your listeners. I say this stuff isn't complicated, and I don't know if you believe me or not, because I've been doing technology stuff for, 20 years or more. So when I say it's not complicated, what does that mean to you guys? Well, listen, I'm going to walk you through some stuff. If I can explain this to you in voice over a podcast, do you think maybe you can try some of these things yourselves? So I want these things to be really practical for your listeners, Mark. And I know that people kind of the eyes glaze over a little bit. Well, it's not going to matter because the infrastructure is going to be down anyway. Well, look, do you really want to go back to the dark ages of communication? I don't think that any of us think that we really want to go back to the days when we don't have electronic, we don't have email, we don't have cell phones, any of those things. And there's some things that you can help do to become part of maybe even rebuilding infrastructure for yourselves. So I want to hit on quite a few things here and make this really practical and give simple instructions. And a lot of the things that I'm talking about today, I've got links to everything. I've got a lot of articles on our website telling you step-by-step how to try this stuff. And one of the best things for you guys out there is that a lot of these things that I'm doing today, you can do them for free. You can at least try them for free. So we're talking about free software, free trials of different things. We're talking about saving money on cell phone and at the same time reining in the control of your cell phone. And the carrier I'm going to talk about in upcoming here is a carrier that doesn't even ask you for your social security number.
Great, lay it all out for us, and then we'll have the link to the site that you'll have all the links to ePrepper. Absolutely. We'll have the link to the ePrepper article, and then so folks will be able to listen right now, and then they can go over to ePrepper. We'll have the link to that article that'll have all the links in it.
Awesome. So I'm going to hit 5 things here, guys. Everybody who's listening, girls too, right? So first, I'm going to talk about Tails OS. That's going to be number 1. I'm going to boot up a computer using a DVD. We're going to do that. And I'm going to put it in Tails OS mode so that it connects to what's called Tor, the Onion router. And it's really easy. It's not complicated. I'm going to demonstrate how to add your own email aliases So you have like 100 email aliases using this particular service, and it's located in Norway. And Norway has great privacy laws to help protect your data. I'm going to show you how you can build your own file sharing server, and it's really cheap, and it's online, and you can access it from your phone. You can access it from your computer, and that's number 3. 4, we're going to talk about secure instant messaging with voice and chat on your own voice and texting server. This is a kind of service that a lot of gamers out there use, and this is really cheap stuff. And there's going to be some trials related to this stuff, so that you can mess around with this stuff with absolutely no risk. And 5th, I'm going to talk about how you take control of your cellular plan with that company I was talking about. So if you're ready, Mark, your listeners better be buckled in, because we're going to hit a lot of things really quick.
Fire it up.
All right. Excuse me. I had to sip my green tea. Okay.
Sure.
So I told you I had 3 computers in front of me. So one of these computers that I have in front of me is a really old IBM T43 laptop. This particular laptop, and a lot of these old laptops, you can pick up on eBay super, super cheap. Like, I'm talking like $50, okay, or less. I've seen them like 30, $40. So this is a T43 IBM ThinkPad. I don't even know the age, but it was before Lenovo, right? So this is an IBM ThinkPad T43. So what I've done is I've got a Tails OS DVD. I'm going to tell you at the end of the program how you can get one of these. So this Tails OS DVD, it's a bootable DVD, is all I'm doing is right now, as we're talking, I'm clicking it into the DVD drive on the laptop. I'm closing the DVD tray. I'm pressing the power button. And IBM has a nice little button called Access IBM. So I'm going to press that button when I boot it up, because what it's going to do is going to prompt me to press F12 to choose a temporary startup device. So that's what I'm doing. And a lot of computers, when you do this, it might not be exactly the same. You might just press F12, you might press F10. But if you look at the prompts when you first turn on your computer, it's going to tell you what button you want to press in order to boot up from the USB or DVD drive. Mac users, note, all of these things used to work with Mac. Mac is tightening up how they do things. So PC's preferred on this one. You might be able to use Tails just fine on a Mac, but I will tell you, PC right now is my choice for doing Tails. I use a Mac for many other things, but this isn't one of them. So I'm going to select my CD drive, DVD drive, and I'm going to press enter. And now Tails is booting in the background. Now, while Tails boots, it says boot Tails live, I just press enter. So while Tails is booting in the background here, let me tell you a little bit about what Tails is. What is Tails even stand for? The Amnesiac Incognito Live System. Okay, this is a system that was developed, I believe, through the Navy to be able to go to websites without people knowing that it was the Navy. So, and part of what they did when they developed this is that they made this public so that they would have not just Navy traffic on using this system, using Tor, the onion router, not Tails itself, but Tor, the onion router. So the onion router is like an onion. It keeps encrypting your connection as it goes along, like the layers on an onion. So your layers only know where the previous layer came from, and that previous layer only knows where that previous layer came from. Long story short, your stuff is pretty well secure. It is very hard. People have talked about vulnerabilities in Tor, but really it's super hard to track. So I still have a high reliability rating for using Tor. Tails OS just gives you a really easy way to access this and do it on your own. You can install the Tor router in Windows, you can install it in Mac, and you can just browse straight from your computer. But the problem with your computer is that you have cache files on there and all of those things, and really you want all this stuff to be gone when you turn off your computer if you want to be able to have true privacy. So the Amnesiac Incognito Live System, Tails OS, does that for you. So right now, Tails is about booted up. and I get prompted with a screen here in a second that's going to ask me if I want to create persistence. So I want to tell you real quick what persistence is. If I was booting from a USB drive, and we'll talk about that again at the end of the program, I'll tell you how you can get a Tails OS USB drive. So if I was booting from a USB thumb drive, I might want to be able to keep some files. Obviously, I'm not going to modify my DVD that I've stuck in there, and I don't want to put stuff on my hard drive. So if I say in Tails that I want more options and say yes, it's going to ask me if I want to create a persistence. So that allows me to create a portion of that USB drive that is going to be for saving files and things. Right now, I'm just going to say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to say log in because I'm using a DVD right now. But you can, when you do persistence, you use a really good password, write it down until you've got it locked into memory. And I'll be honest, I like to use scripture. So I will pick a verse or part of a verse and make it long, and maybe change my E's to 3's, or change the O's to 0's or something like that. Use the same trend as you go along to make it easy, so you don't have to try and remember what you did, and use just part of a verse as a key for that. So Tails is booted up, and I wish you guys could see my screen, and I do have screenshots and stuff of Tails online on our website, so you can go to eprepper.net for that stuff. It's not just a browser, okay? So Tails pops up in the top right corner. It's like I'm sitting at a desktop computer, really. So it says computer, home. I've got trash here. I've got applications that are on this DVD. There's Office apps and things on here. So let's say I want to write something and I want to save it on persistence, and I want it to be encrypted so that nobody can get it. Then I can create a file on here. All right, Mark, I'm covering a lot of information here really quick. Am I going too fast for you or your audience?
No, that's the great thing about a podcast is they can always go back and rewind it and play it again if they need to, 4 or 5 times if they need to, so they can write everything down and get all the notes. And if they tried it the first time, didn't work out, that's the great thing about it.
All right, cool. So I'm going to just continue on here. So I'm looking at my Tails desktop, and like I said, it looks a lot like the desktop on a desktop computer. And in the top right corner, I see a little wireless connection. It looks like a little computer. So I click on that, and I click on what my wireless network is, and I type in my password here. And after I type in my password and press enter, then it connects me to my wireless network. So now I just wait, maybe a couple minutes, 3 minutes maybe at the most. This little onion icon is going to appear on my top bar, and I'm going to wait for that little onion to turn green. Okay, that onion is yellow right now. Now the onion is green. Okay, so I'm going to click on my little web browser. It shows up as Tor browser. It's on the top bar. It looks like a little globe. Excuse me. And when I click on that, it's going to take a minute because you got to remember I'm working on an old computer, and I'm also booted off the DVD. So you do not expect performance like your desktop computer when you're using Tails. So it takes it a minute, and it pops right up on the screen, and it says I'm connected. I get this a green onion icon on here showing me that that I'm connected right now inside Tor, the onion router. Now, as I'm in Tor browser, all I need to do is just browse the internet like I normally do. And when I do that, that connection is actually being layered with security through all these different hops, all of these different locations online. But I can use it just like I would normally browse the web. And some of the recent versions of the more recent version of the Tor browser, even things like YouTube videos work. You will find that some sites will report something like an error message saying that could not that anonymous browsing is basically not permitted on that site, and you just kind of live around that. But I use it a lot for doing my email and things like that. So it seems to be perfect for things like that. So that being said, we're going to move on to number 2. I've just showed you how easy it is to boot up your computer in this Tails OS. I've just done that, or talked you through it rather. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in to my secure email account. Now we are offering, and this is going to be toward the end of the show, we'll talk about this. We're offering secure email accounts. The server is located in Norway. You're going to have to explore this a little bit more. I'm not going to tell you the name of the service on the air. You need to come to our site. You need to check out the link. You need to check this company out. It's absolutely amazing. These guys are in Norway. Norwegian privacy laws are really strict. So it's pretty rock solid. And as a matter of fact, last week, I received a notice from the company telling me that they had encountered, it's called a DDoS, distributed denial of service attack against them. And they were letting everybody know that, hey, we sustained this attack. If we receive another attack, we just want to let you know that service might be slow, and kind of giving you a heads up that this was coming. But they've completely sustained this. And distributed denial of service attacks basically are many devices, could be hundreds of thousands of devices trying to connect and do things all at the same time. And these guys withstood it. So that was really encouraging to me to see that, and the way that they communicated that to their user base, that was pretty impressive. So why would somebody want to use an email alias? Or why would somebody want to use this service? Well, I think you need to be weaning yourself off of the freebies. The freebies should not be trusted. Yahoo, Gmail, I don't know who else offers free stuff. There's a ton of them. You should be getting yourself at least an account that you know can be pretty rock solid and pretty secure. And this provider is exactly that. Back to the aliases. Why would you want to have an email alias? You know the answer to that question probably, Mark. Why would you want to have an email alias?
Well, you don't necessarily want everybody to know who you are.
Yeah. So the cool thing about email alias, well, what a lot of people end up doing is they end up creating multiple free accounts on different service providers, and then they have to remember all these passwords, especially if they're using good passwords. Then they've got all these passwords that they're trying to remember and all of that. Well, an email alias allows it to come straight into your normal inbox on that provider. So when I go into my account, at the top I have account, and then I have aliases in here, and all I do is go to aliases, and let's say, you know what, I'm going to contact this person or this company, and I just really don't know if this is legit. I don't know if I want to talk to someone. I don't want to try and make connection with somebody about, maybe it's prepping, maybe it's something else, and I just kind of like, I really don't want them. I don't want to come right out and let them know who I am right off the bat. So I can go in here and I can create an account, and I can just say Joe Schmo and it shows you the full email address here, and I just hit add alias, and that's it. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 minutes for it to kind of kick into gear so that it populates on all of their servers, so that it knows where to direct your email. But that's all you have to do. And then you can do exactly the same thing removing it. You can just check a little box and say, okay, I'm done with that one. I'm going to just delete it. So maybe somebody contacts you back and you start getting a bunch of spam from them or whatever. You just delete it. So it gives you a great way to set up some aliases and to start taking control of your email security. And I've just got like the 1 gigabyte account here, and I've been using it for a long time now, and it's plenty of storage for normal everyday email. So that's a little bit about that one. Any questions? How are we doing?
I think you're doing great. So just keep rolling.
Okay. So next one, file sharing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a service called DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean has a $10. You can free trial this for $10. I'm going to give you a link in my notes that allows you to go there and to try this out. Now you say $10. Come on, what's $10 do? Well, $10 it actually give you 2 months worth of having your own server on the internet. It's only $5 a month. Their cheapest server plan is only $5 a month. It's and they're rock solid. It's a great service. And so I'm going to go to my DigitalOcean account, and I'm going to say create droplet. You're like, okay, hold on. Now wait a second. I'm not a server guy. I don't know anything about servers. How would I possibly even get started? You're gonna throw out creating this virtual server, and we're all gonna be lost, and none of us are gonna have any idea how to do this. I'm telling you, this is so super easy. Okay, so as all I do, you just use the link. You say you set up your account, and you just say create droplet, and the droplet is your server. So I'm logged in right now, and I'm creating a droplet. And my account might be timing out because it's been so long since it's been quite a while since I logged in. Okay, there we go. No, it came right up. So it pops up and it says create droplet, and you can name your droplet here. Now I'm going to tell you they have all of these really easy one-click apps that you can install. So I'm going to call my droplet OwnCloud, and I'm going to say $5 a month. I'm just going to try this out. It's risk-free. And then you can choose a server: New York, Amsterdam, San Francisco, Singapore, London, Frankfurt, Toronto. You pick which server you want. Then you choose the image you want. And by image, I'm not talking about picture. I'm talking about what is actually installing on the hard drive. So there's some options here. What I'm doing right here, right now, is I'm going to one-click apps. I'm going to find OwnCloud on the list. I click that, highlight that, and then I'm just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and hit create. Boom. And it says approximately 60 seconds to have my server online. And I'm not going to wait for that while we're burning precious time here. I actually have another OwnCloud droplet already set up so that I would be all ready for today. So when I go to my droplets, I see that I already have an OwnCloud droplet here. So I click on my OwnCloud droplet, and it says console access. Now, this is like the prompt in Windows, okay? And I'm telling you, it's not as scary as it sounds. All you do is click on console access. And the only reason we even need to go into the console is so that we can get our password for our OwnCloud system. So I go in here. I just got an email from DigitalOcean. It's got my root password in it. I go type that password in. I type in root is my username and my password from DigitalOcean, and I press enter. And then it asks me to change my password. So I'm going to type in my old password again. And now I need to go in and I need to type in my new password. Type that in twice. And as soon as I'm done that and press enter, it pops up and it says your OwnCloud instance can be accessed at this location. And it gives me this http://. Yes, you access it through the internet. So you just go to this site, and I would change the HTTP to HTTPS for secure. So I go https://. The site is it's an IP address. It's just numbers. This is 104.131.something.something. I'm not going to read it over the air. And then it tells me what my username and password is to manage my OwnCloud. Now, this is different than root that I just set. This is its own username and password. So admin, and then the password is there. And then once that pops up, I am in OwnCloud. And it's GUI, graphical user interface, really easy. It's just like navigating a website. I'm pretty sure your listeners know how to navigate websites, Mark. So that is OwnCloud. Super easy. Any questions?
No, it's great. And
All right,
now,
cool.
now, if folks do have questions, there's a contact tab on eprepper.net, right?
Oh yeah. And I'll give my my email address if they even want to just contact me directly with some questions. I got no problem with that.
All right, great. Let's keep rolling. How many more we got?
We got 2 more. How much time we have?
Yeah, I think we can do it.
All right. Okay, cool.
All right.
So let's talk voice and text messaging. You guys are going to love this one. This one is so cool. Okay, so in Runbox, let me back up. in DigitalOcean, your savvy listeners will go look up what I just mentioned, and that's okay. They can do some research there. So in DigitalOcean, in my droplets, I have a droplet called my Mumble. Mumble, well, what's that? Well, if any of you gamers are listening to this podcast right now, you're going to be like, "Oh, I know what Mumble is. That's where we like hook up our games and we chat back and forth, and we put on our headsets, and when we're playing, Call of Duty or whatever, right?" So how does this apply to the prepper community? Well, we're going to get to that. This is really cool. What I can do is I can create a droplet using the exact same techniques I just told you, except when I create this droplet, and I've got all the instructions online, so I'm not going to take as much time on this one. So when I create the droplet, instead of selecting Own Cloud, I select Mumble. Okay, and it's going to say, it might not say Mumble, it might say Mumble-Murmur server. Okay, so Murmur is the name of the server. Mumble is the actual app you put on your phone or your laptop or whatever. Okay, so you set that up. It's, again, super easy. Just like follow the instructions we have linked.
It's time for a quick break, and we'll be right back. The dollar's lost over 90% of its purchasing power since 1971. Silver, on the other hand, has proved to be a very stable form of wealth preservation over the years. And where do you buy silver? Silver.com, of course. Silver.com offers fantastic prices on silver and gold. We talk a lot about food storage on the Prepper Recon podcast, but just as important is knowing that you have a way to cook the food that you're storing. Sun Oven is a great way to cook with the energy of the sun, and they have a great deal for Prepper Recon podcast listeners. It's $80 off a deluxe package, which includes a turkey roasting rack, especially for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Just go to prepperrecon.com and click the Sun Oven banner on the right-hand side of the homepage.
So when you get Mumble set up, it basically just gives you an IP address to connect to. So I've got an iPhone here. I've got an Android phone here. I've got a Linux desktop here. If the word Linux scares you away, don't let it bother you. You can do this with your Windows, and you can do it with your Mac. And you can do it with your iPhone, and you can do it with your Android. Okay, so this is a really cool mobile platform, portable platform that works on just about everything. So I go get the Mumble app. So I tap on the Mumble app, and I add a server. And all I do is type in the IP address that I got from DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean gives me this IP. I type it in. I add that server. So I have it on my phone as I click on, I'm on my iPhone right now. I tap on favorite servers, and I type in, I called it ePrepper. So I connect onto my server. And I'm also going to take my Android phone here. And I'm going to go ahead and
connected to ePrepper.
Oh, did you hear that? My phone was just talking.
Yeah, awesome.
Actually, it has a voice prompt, so it'll tell you if it will make it audible if somebody joins your channel. So channels work just like chat channels, So like you can set up all these different chat channels. Now this $5 droplet on DigitalOcean supports up to 100 users. You can have up to 100 people on this in different channels. They can be you can have one group of people talking to each other on one using their, you just hook up your headset and walk through the setup. It's super easy. You can have different people chatting on a different channel. You can have a Mac user talking to an Android user, an iPhone user talking to a Mac or a PC or whatever. It's a mashup, okay, of all these different devices. Now, here's what I'm talking about when I talk about hacking, thinking outside the box, okay? So if I can hook up a headset to my computer with a mic and headphones on it, what else can I hook up to my computer? You have any ideas, Mark?
You're the expert, and I'm sure that if I start trying to guess, I'm going to leave a bunch out, so I'll just let you do it.
Okay, all right. So safe answer. So what I've taken here is I've got an FM radio. Now think about this now. If I can do this with an FM radio, I could probably do it with a shortwave. I could probably do it with like a Baofeng $25 VHF transceiver. I could probably do it with just a ton of different things. Okay. So what I've done is I've got my radio hooked up here, and I'm going to hit the button for just a few seconds. There'd be a little bit of music's probably going to come through because I think I'm actually tuned into a music station right now. And I don't want any copyright infringement or anything like that on your broadcast here. So I've got an FM radio hooked up to my microphone port. So I went from the headphone jack to the mic port on my computer. Okay. And what I did in my little Mumble app here, I told it continuously on. So Mumble thinks that I'm in this news channel and that I'm just going to continually broadcast. So I'm going to go turn on that radio. And I'm going to take my iPhone and I'm going to join the news channel. There you go. I don't have any idea what song that is, and I have no idea what radio station that is, actually. I have to look over my radio. So somebody could do this with a Baofeng, however you pronounce it. I think it's actually pronounced Baofeng. One of those little cheap UV5R handsets. Look that up. Those are really popular in the prepper community. So you could hook up one of those onto this. You could have your phone with you, and at any place, at any time, if you saw, let's say you had your Baofeng on police scan, and you plug it into your Mumble app that's running on your laptop computer, you can be anywhere without your Baofeng radio that scan, or your home scanner, whatever you have, police scanner, whatever. You could have that hooked up to your computer, and you could just open up the mobile Mumble app on your Android phone or iPhone or whatever, and you could go into that channel and you could listen real time to anything that is being broadcasted over that frequency. Now that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So that's the kind of thing when I talk about hacking, that's what I'm talking about. Think outside the box. Because immediately after I got Mumble going, I was like, wow, what else can I do? How can I stream something? How can I take a FM radio? How could I just take a news channel from like the BBC, or how could I take something and have it so that I could just access it anywhere, anytime I wanted, as long as I had a wireless connection. So that is a little quick snapshot on Mumble. We got one more, and I know we're up against it on the clock here, and then I got something really cool I want to talk to your listeners about. So cell phones. And I'm going to, before I talk about this, all of you listeners out there, okay, these links that I have, absolutely 100% honest upfront with you. I am an affiliate, okay? I would not be an affiliate of any of these companies if I did not think they were very valuable to the prepper community. So that's my disclaimer, and I'm going to stand by it because I really stand by each of these. And in all honesty, Mark, you and I both know we're not out here to make big bucks. And what we can make can offset us being able to provide these resources to a listener base of people who want to be able to take these and do something with them. And I'm sure you agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all of our listeners understand that there's hard costs associated with trying to put any type of website or production out, and it's time consuming, and it takes away from the time that you have to dedicate to other venture. So there's the reality is there's bills out there, and we're not sitting in our mom's basement and taking a welfare check. So right. I think they all understand that,
which is a good thing. Yeah. So with that, let me talk about this last one here. It's called Ting. You can go to ting.com. You can check out this company. They do not ask you for your social security number. They're super easy to set up. There is absolutely no contract, and there is no agreement, okay? And agreement is becoming the new contract. When you hear cell companies talk about, oh, well, we don't have any contracts, we just have agreements, that should be a red flag in your head. Yeah, it's a contract. You're still expected to be in that contract or agreement for a certain amount of time in order to take advantage of their service. So with Ting, you own your phone outright. Number one, You want to anyway. Okay. So you want to be able to own your phone and not have that subsidized in your phone plan. So I'm going to go to ting.com. I'm actually going to log into my account. And you're like, oh, I don't know. This is crazy stuff. You're talking about, maybe changing my cell provider to these guys are absolutely fantastic. So I'm logging into my account right now. And it comes up with a dashboard. So here's where Ting really separates the men from the boys. All right. So there are a lot of companies out there that offer these pay-per-use plans, right? You can go to Walmart and you can go get whatever it is, Straight Talk or Crosstalk or whatever they call. They got all these different companies out there that do this, right? So you can go out and buy one of those plans, and I guarantee at some point you're going to have to call them and talk to them and get something straightened out at some point. And what a nightmare it is when that day happens, because you try and get something straightened out with a phone number or something like that, and it's impossible to talk to the right person to get the job done. Ting is real people that answer the phone. That's awesome. They don't ask for your social security number. That's awesome. You get full control of your devices. So in my Ting dashboard right now, I told you I had two phones in front of me. Actually, one of these phones doesn't even have any service on it right now. If I go into device settings, I can see that device that I have in my hand is not activated. It's actually taken out. I see a little MEID/IMEI number. And all of your cell phones basically have this if you take off the battery. Ting is called an MVNO. They work with the Sprint network. MVNO is a mobile virtual network operator. It just basically means that they have a contract with Sprint to be able to provide this service. So Sprint loses all the overhead of the customer support and all that stuff and gives Ting this great deal. And then what Ting has done is they've automated so much of this for you. You could have 10 phones in your plan on standby. You could take, whatever phones. Let's say you wanted to go out and you say, you know what, I want to have a backup plan for communications. You can buy phones super cheap on their site. They have some really rugged phones, and I'm talking like $47 cheap. You own the phone outright. Okay, so they have some flip phones on there for like $47. This thing's rugged. It's built like a tank. You go buy some of those. You put them in a plan, it's not even really a plan. You just put them in your Ting dashboard and don't activate them. And you have devices now that people have that at a drop of a hat, you can go in and flip these things on when you want. And you have full control over these devices. Okay. When I say that, what I'm talking about is, let me pull up my son's phone. He's just using a really old Motorola Admiral. That was back in the day. And when I say you have full control, you have control over whether that person can make calls, receive calls, use voicemail, is allowed to use international long distance. You can set call forwarding. You can tell it if that phone is allowed to receive and send text messages. You can set if that phone is allowed to use data, can receive and send pictures, video group, use tethering, all of that stuff. So it really gives you control, and you ought to be in control. Now think about your current provider and think about what a nightmare it is if you want to change something or if you have a question. It's really hard with a lot of them to, especially if you want to call them and you say, look, my data is getting way out of control. I want an alert when I get to 2 megabytes or 2 gigabytes or whatever. You just go into your Ting dashboard and you set those things. It's all in your hands. It's all in your control. And the kinds of devices that these guys cover, if I go to shop on their site, and it's cheap too. I would not be using Ting if it wasn't super reasonable. Our bill for 3 smartphones, I kid you not, 3 smartphones. 2 of them have data turned on. My son says it turned off. With 3 smartphones, our bill is only like just over $60, like $62, $65. So it's super cheap and it gives you control. And you can mess around. The cool thing about this is that if you have an old Sprint phone kicking around, you just go to our site, go to our link. We give you a $25 credit on service. You can try it absolutely risk-free. You can port numbers over to them. So if you're worried about, how do I get my current number over? I've ported, and they have they work with GSM as well as CDMA. So they've also partnered with, I don't know which company it is, AT&T or one of them. And so if you have a GSM phone, it's all you have to do is buy a SIM card for $9, pop it in there, and you can even register your GSM phone on Ting. I've used a ton of different devices on Ting. The coverage has been great. It's been a phenomenal experience for me, and that's why we promote them. And I really like the fact that they give you control and that they don't ask you a ton of questions, as far as your social security number and things like that. Wow, that was a lot of stuff, Mark.
Dana, that's great information. You always give us a lot of killer tips every time you're on the show. So we really appreciate the time that you took to put all that together for us. And of course, like I said, we're going to have the links over to your article on ePrepper. So folks will be able to go over there, take advantage of the special offers you got going, and get the links to all those great sites and all that great stuff.
Yeah. Can we talk special offers real quick?
Sure, please.
All right. So here's what we've got. We have 2 packs that are just going online today. So when this broadcast goes online, you're going to find these 2 packs on our website. On our website. So the site is eprepper.net. You go to our shop page and you will find these 2 packs. One is a solo communications pack. We've tried to work some pricing and increase some things here to give you the best of this. So here's what this features for you. You get private web browsing. You get private email account. And so the benefits obviously are that your information is really hard to track. And I think we need to be developing our own communications infrastructure and getting people on board with this and trying this. So we try and do these things and we try and make them as reasonably priced as possible. So in the past, if you'd purchased our Tails OS bootable USB drive, 16 gigabyte, with a secure email account, and we give you an @eprepper.net email account, and you can add 100 aliases on the provider's account, and you'll find that on the website there. So in the past we've offered that for $44.99. So here's what we're going to do. We're also going to throw in a bootable DVD. Now we are raising the price of this pack a little bit because shipping costs and things are going to go up, and we test all this stuff before it ships out. Okay, so it's not like we're throwing something on the drive and sticking it in the mail and hey, cross our fingers, hope it works. No, we're going to test every DVD before it ships. We test every Tails USB flash drive before it ships, and we also make sure that we're running the latest, greatest version and that it is secure. There's been no man-in-the-middle attacks or nothing. This stuff is hot off the press from the guys at Tails, and we know that it is the right version and it's the best one out there. So we give you the bootable DVD, we give you the Tails OS USB flash drive, 16 gigabyte flash drive, and one secure email account on a server in Norway, and the price is $49.99, including shipping. Now here's where it gets cool. We have a double pack of this. So you get 2 DVDs, bootable Tails OS DVDs. You get 2 of the USB flash drives, and you get 2 of the secure email accounts for $79.99. Plus, what we're doing for that pack, we are doubling the USB drive size. Instead of 16 gigabyte, we're going to give everybody a 32 gigabyte flash drive for that. It's the holidays. Take advantage of this. They're going to come in individual packaging. So if you want to take one and you want to pass it on to somebody, you're going to have a voucher code on the front. It's got a label on it with a voucher code on it. You're going to just email us with your voucher code and tell us what you want for an email address. We're gonna send you a temporary password, and the first thing you need to go in is reset that password, and you're off and running. We just try and put all this stuff in your hands and make it as easy as possible for you to get going. So that's what we're doing. $79.99. That's $20 off. Plus, you're getting those 2 32 gigabyte instead of 16 gigabyte flash drives.
And tell us one more time. We go to eprepper.net and we click the shop tab.
Yep, eprepper.net, go to shop. If you have any questions, you can email me directly, Dan Michaels. That's dan.michaels, Michaels, at eprepper.net.
Dan, thanks again for making time to come on the show today.
Hey, it's been so much fun. Thank you so much, and I love your show. I love your books, guys. You got to go out and get Perdition if you haven't got it yet. Go get it.
In the days of Noah, Book 3, Perdition. A global empire arises like a phoenix from the ashes of the world that was. The emerging order is unified by a new global currency and a single world religion, which are mandated by an imposed UN treaty. In the interest of unity and peace, a zero-tolerance policy for dissenters is enacted and strictly enforced. Hunted down like common criminals for daring to resist the state, Noah Parker's group will have to rely on faith and wits to endure the powers of darkness which are quickly consuming the earth. Buy your copy of The Days of Noah, Book 3, Perdition, by best-selling author Mark Goodwin in paperback, Kindle, or audio edition from Amazon.com today.